Hello there, you look sleepy with your red drowsy eyes. Welcome to my sleep stories. You can call me Dr. Sleep. I am a real-life doctor, and it's my privilege as you sleep listening to my voice tonight. And tonight's story is the first of many sleep stories that will put you to sleep. While slightly terrifying you, if you have your blanket nearby, it's recommended to go inside it and put your headphones on and immerse into it while slowly relaxing and letting go of all the tiredness. Well then, let's start today's story. It is called Haunting Echoes. The Victorian hotel loomed like a specter against the moonlit sky, its darkened windows seeming to gaze down upon me with a malevolent intent. Despite the chill in the air, sweat beaded on my brow as I approached its imposing facade, each step heavier than the last. The lobby greeted me with a silence so profound it felt suffocating. The receptionist, a shadowy figure behind the desk, handed me a key with trembling hands. "Room 333, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the creaking of the floorboards. As I ascended the staircase to my room, the air grew thick with a sense of unease. Shadows slithered along the walls, their movements jagged and unpredictable. The key trembled in my hand as I unlocked the door, revealing a chamber cloaked in darkness. I lit a solitary candle, its flickering flame casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. The room seemed to exhale with a sigh, its ancient timbers groaning under the weight of centuries-old secrets. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, a miasma that clung to my lungs like a shroud. I settled into the threadbare armchair by the window, trying to shake off the feeling of dread that threatened to consume me. But the whispers began almost immediately, faint at first, like the rustling of leaves in the wind. They spoke of tragedy and despair, of lives cut short and promises left unfulfilled. I tried to block them out, to drown them in the sound of my own heartbeat, but they persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing moment. As the night wore on, the shadows seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that lurked in the corners of the room. I could feel their eyes upon me, cold and unyielding, as if they were waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then she appeared, a figure bathed in an otherworldly light, her features twisted in an expression of unfathomable sorrow. Her eyes bore into mine, black pits of despair that seemed to swallow me whole. I tried to scream, to flee from the nightmare unfolding before me, but my voice was trapped in my throat, suffocated by the weight of fear. She reached out to me, her hand cold as ice, and I recoiled, the touch burning like fire against my skin. But she was relentless, her presence overwhelming, as if she were trying to drag me into the depths of her despair. I fought against her, clawing at the air with desperate abandon, but it was no use. The darkness closed in around me, swallowing me who. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. I found myself lying on the floor, gasping for breath, the room bathed in the soft light of dawn. The shadows had receded, their malevolent presence dissipating like smoke in the wind. As I stumbled out into the morning light, I knew that I would never forget the horrors that had unfolded within the walls of the haunted hotel. The echoes of that night would haunt me forever, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface of our world. But as I walked away, leaving the hotel behind me, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. For though the scars may never fully heal, I had survived the night, and that was enough. As I stepped onto the balcony of the haunted hotel, A bone-chilling wind whispered through the night, sending shivers down my spine. The moon cast an eerie glow over the deserted streets below, illuminating the ancient building with an ethereal light. Leaning against the wrought iron railing, I felt a sense of unease settle over me, the air heavy with the weight of impending dread. The balcony overlooked a sea of darkness, the city lights flickering like distant stars in the night sky. Suddenly, a faint whisper echoed in the air, barely audible above the rustling of the leaves. I turned, my heart pounding in my chest, and saw her, a spectral figure standing at the edge of the balcony, her form bathed in moonlight. Her eyes held a sadness that seemed to pierce straight through to my soul, and I recoiled instinctively, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. But as I tried to retreat, a shadow flickered across the wall of my hotel room, dancing with unnatural grace. I froze, my breath catching in my throat as the shadows seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. Their movements were jagged and unpredictable, like tendrils reaching out from the depths of the abyss. With mounting horror, I realized that the shadows were not mere tricks of the light, but something far more sinister, an embodiment of the hotel's haunted past, lurking in the darkness, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. As the shadows crept closer, their malevolent presence filled the room with a suffocating dread. I could feel their icy touch against my skin, searing me with a cold that cut straight to the bone. And then, with a blood-curdling scream, the spectral figure lunged forward from the balcony, her ghostly hands grasping at my throat with a strength that defied reason. I stumbled backward, my heart racing as I fought against the darkness that threatened to consume me. But just as I thought all hope was lost, a calmness washed over me like a soothing tide. In that moment of clarity, I realized the truth. The shadows were not my enemy, but a manifestation of the hotel's tortured soul, crying out for release. Summoning all my courage, I faced the darkness head-on, confronting the shadows with a determination born of desperation. And as I did, the air around us seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly light, pushing back the darkness that had enveloped us. With a final, mournful wail, the shadows receded into the night, leaving behind nothing but a sense of emptiness and despair. As I stood alone in the dimly lit room, the echoes of the encounter lingered in the air, a reminder of the horrors that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. But even amidst the darkness, there was light, a glimmer of hope that refused to be extinguished. And as I watched the first light of dawn break across the horizon, I knew that I had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it. I hope this tale of terror and redemption sends chills down your spine while offering a glimmer of hope amidst the shadows. That was all for today. This story is just the sample of our work that is going to come this week. If you are still listening, we would like you to know that we would upload every weekend. This was the first of the many stories that is going to come on this channel. So if you like the story and if you want to support us, subscribe to this channel, Dr. Sleep Stories, for more sleepy nights, which will get longer and even more terrifying. That is all from my side for today. Dr. Sleep signing off.